What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing you a state of the market and stock picks for October 18th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as I do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. So state of the market, it's pretty cut and clear in my opinion. You have monetary policy and you have core CPI is what we're looking at, but earnings matter. Earnings will give us true detail, not all the mumbo jumbo garbage reports that we get that are falsified and maneuvered in a way that will help push the market in the direction that essentially the Fed wants. But right now, monetary policy is on the second, which is getting close. But our main focus is on earnings this week. There's a lot of earnings. We have Netflix, ASML. Bank of America are reporting, but in my mind, Tesla is the one to watch. On Wednesday, we want to see how well they've done. Now, their production numbers and delivery numbers are outstanding as always, but again, they missed expectations. So we want to see how much these companies are getting affected, what they're doing forward guidance-wise, and go from there. If you have to understand, too, if these earnings are good, the market is going to rocket. And I mean big time. You're going to have a monster move to the upside if one of these companies does extremely well and beats expectations. With that being said, there's still a lot going on in the market. There's still a lot going on in the world. The market... Europe has stopped purchasing bonds. We thought the market could potentially implode on that, and it did not, which leads me to believe, again, that the things that have weight, or the things that I talk about, and that is earnings. People want to know what is going on. And again, the reports and all that ain't going to tell you anything. What really matters is earnings. Earnings are going to tell you the truth about what's really going on. And last time we saw foundation cracks in Q2, Q3, we want to see what's going on again in Q4, Q1. I think Q4 we're probably going to see the worst of it. Q1, we'll start to see some tapering off. But with that being said, core is still very high. That's not going to stop the Fed from coming in with a higher monetary policy, and know that this Q4 is going to get worse. And this is why I talk about Q4 getting worse, because monetary policy is going to continue to roll out heavily, but we're going to see more of the impact it's making on these companies during this earnings. So with that being said, there's really not much else to talk about monetary policy. I could talk about everything and how what's going on with the dollar. Yes, the dollar coming down does help. The dollar coming down will help the market rally. Help the world in general is what it's going to do. But if it stays strong, it's going to be an issue. So again, what we're watching is Tesla. And then next week we have Apple, Google, Microsoft. We'll get to know what is really truly going on. And that will be the pivot that I think will last us the remainder of the year. If we do good earnings, I think we could potentially do extremely well the remainder of the year. But if we don't, I think we're going to continue we'll sell off, and then I think we'll chop remainder of the year. I think we'll get more of this junk that we're seeing. Get these little pops and drops. But again, like I said, if for some reason earnings does do well, there'll be one hell of a rally to back it. So with that being said, tomorrow, again, really watching this level here, this 3,700. We need to see if we can break that. I know the 36 has been kind of more hovering around. I want to see if we get rejected off here tomorrow. And for some, whatever reasons you want to give, we find our way back down here at the 35, 38. I want to see if that's the case, or we find ourselves around that 3,600 again. Wouldn't be surprised if we play this big range between 37 and 36 until we get Tesla earnings. And then that would essentially guide us which direction we're going to go from that point. So really kind of watching that level and seeing where we go from there. Bitcoin, not really much to say about Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin's going to follow the markets. Again, I'm watching that 18K mark, see if we can break out of there. We got a pretty high range here. We can go up to about that 23K mark. So kind of watching that. But again, Bitcoin's not going to move until the market figures out what it's really doing. Tesla, I think can really rip. If Tesla can open up above 223, I think it's got a good straight shot to 244. But you're going to get a hard rejection because we haven't touched this 20 EMA daily in a very long time. It's not saying it can't hit it and push through depending on the momentum, and then wick all the way back down by midday and then start selling off again. So, but I do think it's at a good base here, potentially roughly around the 209. But again, if something changes in the market, it's all about the market sentiment right now. But when we get into banks, you'll see the market sentiment looks pretty good as far as getting some sort of rally. We are in earnings mode. We do get rallies in earnings mode. It really doesn't matter what's going on. The market will try to get some sort of rally. Right now, there's not any new bad news, so that would allow us to run again until we get a bad earnings. All you need is one bad earnings, and that will destroy anything. So that's kind of what we're waiting to hear. And not just anyone, it's more so on these heavier weighted companies that could completely fold the market. So that's what we're kind of waiting for. BA, again, in my opinion, looks like junk. It did finally break, and this is why I talk about breakouts aren't working. You got to retest it and rejection. It didn't sell off. It looks like we're trying to pump back up. BA could potentially get to 142. So they could give us some nice push in value potentially. JPM. Now this is what I'm talking about. We can get a lot of gas. I think we can pull back tomorrow, back down to the 112 for JPM, and then this thing could go have a nice run potentially up to the 123. It should be a huge rally in the market. I think if Tesla does well, I think you could see a massive rally, like I said. So GS kind of floating. We still got tomorrow. They're going to report. If they do well, that will help the banks. Again, this one destroyed the last earnings. The question is, can it do it again? If it does it again, it could definitely help. Bank of America, same thing. They just had earnings. They did well, which is good to see. Yeah, they came, they beat, so that was good to see. So another big rally. Again, there's been massive layoffs and hopes, if there is essentially any kind of recession, that they try to cover their tracks and still remain profitable by just firing everybody. So that's the way they work. So it's the way the banks work. So watching that. Now, one new one I do want to bring up is Snow. I'm really interested in Snow tomorrow, especially if Snow can pop over the 170 tomorrow. I am looking for this for a potential 189 push tomorrow. So I really want to keep this one on watch. Again, you got the 200 EMA at the 193. So if it wants to go a little parabolic, just know looking at those levels. But if it does break again above the essentially the 170, can hold above that tomorrow, get some gas. I'm really watching for this thing to really start ripping. Again, though, if you look at it the opposite way, did it have a break? First retest, this should actually reject it pretty hard. We'll see where we end up in the morning. But again, we're watching that key level, see if it breaks back up. If it does break up, I think we got some gas to the upside there. Otherwise, this thing could potentially gas back down to 145. So, but one I wanted to bring up just because it's had a lot of momentum and had some massive, nice spikes. So just really watching that in general. But that's pretty much what I got. I want to keep this video pretty short. Again, I think these next remaining videos will be pretty short until we actually get Tesla earnings, which is on Wednesday after close. Then from that point, I think we can really start getting gas in a specific direction, at least for a little while, at least to the second before the next core. I think we get a nice rally before next core, and then when the next core comes out, I'm thinking it could potentially be pretty bad because you're going to have all the hurricane stuff mixed in there. I think, again, it could potentially push us back up into the upper eights again, which could be concerning. So have to see how it goes. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Again, this is why we wait and see, and then we take position after we know what's actually occurring. So that being said, go ahead and drop a like button. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.